I'm Peter J. Shield. Thank you for being with me this afternoon. As most of you are aware, I spend my lifetime in search of the strange, the unusual, and the unexplained. Today we're going to delve very deeply into that aspect of the various things that I do. There is a gentleman waving his hand up and down. Does that mean you want me to get lower or the voice a bit? It's a little too loud? Thank you. Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you. Let me just explain to you what we're going to do. I had originally intended, because there'd been a number of requests, how many of you came to the lecture we did in the cinema on Petra? Okay, well, there's quite a few of you. There were apparently a number of you who wanted to hear about Petra that weren't there, and my intention had been to spend the first 10 minutes of this afternoon's presentation just recapping a little of the Petra story. But in view of our timing, and we are extremely late, and I do apologize for that, but I'm sure you felt it was all worthwhile. Did you enjoy the hypnosis lecture? Wasn't it fantastic? It really was. So today what we're going to do is we're going to get straight into space aliens and talk to you a little bit about the archaeological evidence, most importantly, for the possibility that extraterrestrials had visited this world. It's a fascinating subject. It doesn't fit into archaeology. It doesn't fit into space science. It really fits into no known set category. Have any of you ever heard the name SETI before? S-E-T-I. Gentlemen down, quite a number of you. Wonderful. Well, SETI, of course, is the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. It's primarily associated with Carl Sagan, though Carl wasn't the first to set SETI up. SETI was set up, well before Carl got involved, but Carl did rescue the operation. It was due to go under through lack of funding, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. The fact that we are searching the skies, even as I speak, for signs of extraterrestrial life on our planet. So let's get underway with the lecture. Immediately following the lecture, I will be up at the back. If any of you haven't had the opportunity to pick up one of my books and you would like a signed copy, what you receive is a first edition autographed copy of a work which has now been recognized as a historic document. So you might like to take advantage of that. And I'm going to have a special little fun session tomorrow. I'm going to be wandering the decks, and anybody on deck that I see sitting there reading my book, there's a nice little surprise in store for you. So if you've got your books, take them up on deck with you tomorrow morning. If you don't have one and you pick one up today, and I believe we do only have about 8 or 9 copies left, they'll be at the back of the room, and it'll be my pleasure to sign them for you at the end of our get-together today. All right, let's take a look at space aliens. Ever since time began, man has searched the skies in hopes of finding some extraterrestrial contact. Every day, hundreds of reports of abductions, of UFOs flood in across the country to our various societies and organizations. Even if we go back to biblical documents, there are references to space aliens and to spaceships and to fiery chariots in the sky. And we can go back even further, of course, to cave dwellings, as you're about to see. Comic books in the early days depicted our space alien visitors. We all grew up, or many in my generation, reading about Flash Gordon. Space has always fascinated us. And within our lifetime, we've seen man take wings and journey to the four corners, not only of this world, but to our moon and to beyond. So let's take a look at just what would be involved. The one thing that I want you to keep in mind during our get-together today is that this is, in fact, a two-way street. If you can imagine that there are aliens out there, and it is the firm belief of the scientific community today, ladies and gentlemen, that not only are there aliens out there, but in substantial numbers. There is nothing within our universe, and indeed even on our Earth, that has not been duplicated many times over. And when you see the scale of space, as we're going to look at it in the next few minutes, and you understand the immense distances that go well beyond our wildest imagination, you will understand how not only is it possible, but it is more than probable that there are people such as ourselves, fellow human beings, if that's the correct term, out there in space waiting to be discovered. So let's start with the various obstacles that we would face if we in fact wanted to journey to our nearest possible inhabited planet. Bearing in mind that if there are people sitting out there on inhabited planets somewhere within our system or our universe, they're probably trying to get to see us. So it's a two-way street. And we're going to look at exactly what the complications and the problems might arise in the event that we were to try to reach them, or alternatively, they were to try to reach us. Let's start with the obstacles. I don't know if you really, truly understand or appreciate the scale of our galaxy. Over 100 billion stars. It sounds like a deficit, doesn't it? It measures 100,000 light years across. Now, we live about 27 light years. So if this is the Milky Way galaxy you see pictured here, we would be somewhere in the region of around about here. Our closest star system is a three-star complex which we refer to as Alpha Centauri. Now, Alpha Centauri is the closest location where we believe there could be life as we understand it. Last year, and I'm sure many of you are probably not aware of this, but last year, scientists confirmed that star B of the three-star configuration contains all the conditions and the ingredients that would support life as we know it here on Earth. So we know within a foreseeable distance that there are planets that could sustain life as we understand them today, unlike the Moon, unlike Mars, and those various locations. Exactly how far is Alpha Centauri? All right, let's take a look. And how long would it take us to get there? Well, let's look for a moment at the three possible ways of getting to an inhabited planet. First of all, the simple solution is to find a rocket that will travel fast enough to get us to Alpha Centauri within our lifetime. How many of you believe that's possible? Show of hands. All right, there's a few of you, fine. We got to the Moon, didn't we? No problem. A rocket traveling fast enough to take us to the nearest inhabited star within our lifetime. Keep that firmly fixed in your mind. The second option would be cryonic storage. How many of you are familiar with the term cryonics? A lot of you. Wonderful. Cryonics, for those of you who aren't, would be the possibility of having your body frozen and retained in a frozen state until you reach your eventual destination, and then you'd be thawed out at the other end. How many of you are aware that cryonics are available for your use, if you so desired, today? Can anybody in the audience, and I'm sure looking at the number of hands we're getting, tell me of one individual within our lifetime that has their body frozen cryonically, hoping that one day a solution to their death would be discovered and they could be thawed out and then cured? Walt Disney, absolutely. Very few people are aware of the fact that dear old Walt is lying in cryonic suspension in California. And you can actually sign up today, not with me, by the way, but to have your body chronically frozen and kept in suspended animation for whatever date that you choose or for however long that you elect. And there are actually insurance policies that will enable you to do that. Let me get that thing out of my way for a moment.